remedies for rust. Hi, I'm Roofe and welcome to Get Gardening, and in this video we're in the greenhouses at East Ruston looking at some complaints which are affecting our plants, because even here at one of the best gardens in the country we can still have problems with our plants. And I'm here looking at fuchsias in particular, and we've got a lovely group of fuchsias here called Lie's Perfection. It's a lovely strain bred by James Lie many years ago, and it is particularly suffering from a bout of rust. And I've got a leaf here, as you can see on here. Now, rust is a fungal problem which will affect many plants, not only in your greenhouse, but it also can affect things outside. It tends to be more prevalent in greenhouse situations where the environment is slightly more cosseted, because the greenhouse has what the fungus needs. It's warmer, it's a higher humidity, there's less airflow, so it's perfect conditions for it to nestle on the plant and for it to spread. And you can see what's actually happening here with the rust is not only have we got these lesions, these markings on the top of the leaf where the rust has worked its way through the leaf, you can see it there, which looks very unsightly. We've also got spores, pustules under the base of the leaf as well. You can see those little brown rusty spores there. That's the actual fungus which will be sending its spores elsewhere through the greenhouse. And long term, the problems are that very quickly, if the rust gets any more hold, and I will have to treat these plants, that it will actually defoliate the fuchsia. The plants become so infected that the leaves that have got the rust on them will just drop from the plant and we'll be left with not a great deal. Now, there are a few things we can do. Culturally, we're probably better to try and stop the rust taking hold. So in greenhouses, it's really important to increase ventilation, to increase airflow, to make sure you've got what's called the chimney effect. So you've got air being sucked in through the doors or side vents of your glass house and going up through the roof. So you get this constant convection of air coming through, which is really good, because if it's in a more open airy situation, the rust is very likely to have a chance to settle, and a slightly less damp, drier environment will not allow the rust to sort of get hold quite so quickly. The other thing we need to do is to make sure we have good hygiene. So in the winter months, any leaf fall from the fuchsias, any debris or detritus that's there, we clear that away, because old leaves that sit around the greenhouse in the winter are perfect places for the rust spores to overwinter and to sit and wait till conditions are right in the spring. The other thing we need to do is make sure that plants don't get overcrowded. So in the greenhouse here at East Ruston, it's very full, and particularly at this time of year, late spring, early summer, it's bulging with plants, and so that naturally increases the sort of humidity we've got in here and the sort of closeness of the air, okay? So allowing plants more space to let the air around them, we could space these out, that would allow more air through, so that's really good. And also, although we don't want the plants to get stressed, and stressed is sometimes something which can allow the rust to take hold, which is where the plant maybe gets a little bit too hungry or it gets a little bit dry in the pot, we can sometimes overwater, and by overwatering and keeping the compost too wet and the air around the plant too moist, that also increases the rust to get hold. So there are lots of cultural things you can do. If you find you've got rust on your plants and you want to hit it very quickly, then there are fungicides on the market. Just go to your local garden centre or nursery and ask for what's available, and it's a list which is changing so rapidly. Things are being taken off the market at a rate of knots, but tell them you want a good fungicide for rust, and the important thing will be that when you spray on a regular cycle, because like pests and diseases have regular cycles of the way they develop and they spore and they reproduce in terms of sort of insects. So regular spraying every 7 to 10 days, maybe 3 or 4 applications with a good fungicide will sort this problem out. At this stage here with these plants, we might even strip all the old foliage off, cut the plants back, repot them and start again. That's also something else which you can do. So although it can be really destructive and it can defoliate a plant, there are lots of things that we can do as gardeners to make sure, one, it doesn't get hold, and two, if it does get hold, we can knock it on the head really fast. I was doing a funny little nod.
It's just a characteristic.
Right. Come here. Right.